This is Strong Fellow Podcast with your hosts, John, Christopher. Ready or not, here we are.
One of the most challenging parts to running a small business also happens to be the one thing you need to maintain in order to be successful. Consistency in day-to-day operations of your business is a must if you're to manage a well-run, well-kept company. Consistency factors into all the mechanical inner workings of your business and is like the gasoline to your fuel tank needed to make it run effectively and efficiently. Now, this important component of your business most commonly represents whatever it is you do on a daily basis that is necessary for the running of your company. Whether it's setting up your front display window each morning or taking out all the ingredients and equipment you'll need to cook hot dogs, burgers, and fries, your daily routine is a big part of being consistent. But let me share a little something with you. This is a little trade secret here. Your routine is only as good as how efficient it makes you and gives you the option to adjust when needed. Everyone has a routine. That's every person. We each have a way of doing things. When routines become habit, this can be almost a catch-22. If it's a good one, then you'll do well to maintain it. But if it's not helping you achieve your day-to-day goals, that can ultimately hinder your progress. It's easier to develop bad habits than it is to maintain good ones. The bad habits become especially hard to break because of how easy it is to slip into them. Good habits are tougher to keep up with because there is a level of discipline needed to maintain those habits for the long haul that doesn't really exist with bad habits. Notwithstanding, good habits are always going to be worthwhile to keep and uphold rather than the former because it's those good habits that will ultimately yield success. If you have bad habits in business, the best thing I can tell you is a play on words here. Disrupt your routine on purpose. That means to intentionally do something to counter that bad habit that you have and replace it with something that'll be a better use of your time. For instance, when it comes to time management and you have to do a quarterly inventory count for a set date, but you decide to put it off for another week, purpose to take care of the count when you set the date and don't put it off for that next week. Then, once that's finished, you'll find that you have more time next week to dedicate to following up on business leads or making sales pitches. Now, another example would be, let's just say you're running a business and you have a set time where you dedicate yourself to it for those set amount of hours during the day or evening, depending on your schedule. Find time to tack on another hour to it by reallocating it from a time where you usually watch TV or are perusing through entertainment magazines. Repurpose idle time into functional minutes. No one is saying that this is something that's easy to do, but once you get into the routine of using your spare time more efficiently, it becomes a good habit to keep. Now let's talk a little bit about being consistent when it comes to following up with other people, most specifically prospective customers. We previously spoke about communication as part of the keys in being a small business entrepreneur, and that ties in nicely to this current point of topic. Consistency is a fine art where, at least in my experience, you have to continue to communicate with your potential buyer of your product and service, but at the same time, you do not want to bombard or overwhelm them to a point where they're sick of hearing from you. This is where entrepreneurs, myself included, need to work on this aspect because as much as we want to consistently follow up with our customers, we do not want to irritate them to a point where they wouldn't even consider buying from us again. My preference in communicating with customers is if they're new and have never heard of your business before or what it is you're selling, you're going to want to communicate with them methodically. For me, once every 2 or 3 days would be sufficient via phone. Make it so you're the first thing they'll think of at the beginning of the week and towards the end of the week as well. Diversify your method of communication by also connecting through email or through social media. This you can do in between the time you're not on the phone with them, as it's not as invasive as a phone call directly. For prospective customers, the same rules would apply. However, if you're starting from scratch and only just beginning to generate leads, the important thing to remember is you always want to have something new to tell them. And by having something fresh to talk about or to send them via email, you're creating another opportunity to appeal to them and potentially convert into a sale. Another area where it pays off to be consistent is being consistent with your business relationships. This doesn't just comprise of the customer, but your suppliers, marketing personnel, and anyone else who is immediately tied to the most essential components of your business. Now, the most important thing about relationships is that they can either go one of two ways. They can grow or they can wither. Being consistent in fostering your relationships with other people can only help strengthen your business. An invaluable piece of advice I can give is to always be thankful for the valuable relationships you have with those connected to your business. Let them know in some way that you appreciate their assistance, or in a repeat customer's case, their business or consideration to purchase goods or services from you. For a supplier, think about sending them a holiday card. For the repeat customer, give them some sort of promotional discount. Nothing says thank you to a customer like a sale or exclusive offer. Being thankful to others on a consistent basis builds a fondness and trust between you and the other party that ultimately develops even more through the passage of time. Consistency is so key in growing your business because it can be beneficial in gauging your productivity as well. If you're trying something for an extended amount of time to grow your business, consistently sticking to a strategy is going to reveal to you whether or not it's worthwhile. Being consistent reveals how efficient you are or can be. Think about consistency as allowing for you to gauge your productivity because essentially that's what you can glean from doing something on a consistent basis. The other thing about being consistent is that it holds you accountable. I tend to think of that old saying, keep up the good work. Well, how can you do that without being consistent? If you're doing something for your business that you find is working, whether through advertising or selling your goods and services, you're going to want to stay consistent. The onus is on you to keep it up, and therefore the accountability also relies on keeping what works going. Moreover, if there is a task that you assign to yourself or your employees, you're going to want to make sure that it gets done in order to accomplish the goal of running day-to-day operations. Delegating responsibilities will foster a corporate culture that will hold people accountable for their tasks and allow for the achievement of success. You're going to want to hold fast to this mode of thought, as consistency in this area is vital for effectively running your business. The other thing that's important about consistency is that it creates credibility. People need to know that you and your business can be relied upon to deliver the goods or services you say you can to your customers. This sort of consistency establishes a predictable flow of operation that both you and your customers will recognize as a steady process. Credibility develops over time, where you're able to continue your pace of having available products or services that meet customer expectations or are delivered to them in a timely manner. This also kind of segues into building your brand or reputation. Consistency is also a big part of keeping your business relevant and establishing itself as a reliable place for consumers to spend their hard-earned dollars. Reputations are hard to build, but very easy to destroy. This goes with business as well in life. The better the reputation your business has by maintaining its level of service, the better off the business is going to be. However, the more a business owner gets lazy and allows his business's reputation to slide, the worse off you'll be. Customers, even your loyal ones, will eventually drop off and be less inclined to do business with you as a result. This all revolves around consistency, but it is ultimately up to you to take the initiative and decide whether you're going to let your reputation fall by the wayside or if you're going to consistently provide a good or service that will meet or exceed customer expectations. You see, you and your employees are not just representing yourself, but the company you've built. Don't allow it to be tarnished by procrastination, failed deadlines, or inadequate work practices and poor customer service. Business owners and respective employees, you must own your responsibilities and thereby hold fast to a standard of excellence, because there's a lot of competition out there that no doubt is looking to take your proverbial piece of the pie. They're more than happy to do it. And make no mistake, you'll lose market share and customers faster than anything if you're not consistently working hard to satisfy your customers. Here's another thing as to what consistency says about your business. Consistency speaks to people, and it says, I'm serious about what I do. Consistency gives a voice that speaks volumes to how well you operate your company, as well as how good your products or services are that you provide. It's appropriate to add as well that it paints a picture as to what a customer can expect in terms of quality. Consistency is a powerful voice that can allow you to pierce through the fabric of the corporate world and gain market share. Consistency is the voice that speaks much more loudly to potential customers than could a cheesy infomercial or half-hearted advertisement. When a business is consistent, it tends to generate momentum that allows also for a ripple effect that will get across to customers as you build your business, refine your routine, and level of servicing. Being consistent is a major component in growing your company and achieving long-term success. All right, everyone, it has been a pleasure to be here with you today. Special thanks and shout out to Kevin MacLeod, who provides our opening and closing theme. And until next time, this is Strong Fellow Podcast with your host, John Christopher, saying, ready or not, we'll see you then.